So the focus of this video is what is called a speaker panel. Speaker panel has two openings for speakers. It has a center opening for a screen. It's also known as like the DMD display or dot matrix display. This typically displays the high score during a game. You can purchase sort of proper DMD displays, or you can improvise and put an LCD screen on, which is what I'm doing. This video is going to be taken over several days. It involves several parts. I'm just going to piece everything together to make a single video on how I'm going to be working on this thing. I purchased this speaker panel from VirtuaPin when I bought the rest of the cabinet. It only cost $30, but it's like an original Williams pinball speaker panel. The interesting thing is that it's all been beautifully CNC cut, precision cut. This is the front, and I know it looks funny because there's screw things sticking up and there's bevels and stuff. In a typical or a traditional pinball machine, this is all covered up with a piece of acrylic, and printed on the back of the acrylic is a decal or artwork associated with the game. So acrylic decal puts over the front so it hides sort of the engineering mechanisms of the screw mounts. I'm actually going to be turning it over, but before I do that, the way it mounts is there's these cool little clips. These are authentic, you know, you buy these from pinball places. They mount in the back just with regular little screws. I'm not going to do it here, waste your time, but I'm going to turn it over. So this is actually the back. It looks a lot cleaner. I've actually started patching some holes because I don't want those to be seen. I'm just going to be simply painting this. I'm not going to be using acrylic. I'm just going to be painting it, a couple of coats of the same black enamel, oil-based paint that I'm doing for the main cabinet. And so I'm patching some of the holes that I don't need. These 4 holes, you won't see them because they've got the speaker grill. These 2 holes, you will see those. So I'm going to be patching those right now. So we're going to be working just for a few minutes on mounting the LCD screen. This is the LCD screen. I just pinched this from an old laptop. And then you need to buy a controller. And it's pretty simple. It was just going on eBay, typing in the number from the LCD panel, and then this pops up. This was $20 from China. So this makes this work. So the goal here is to mount this somehow. What I'm thinking, what I'm going to be doing is putting little blocks on either side of it. I'm not going to make it too tight in case I ever need to replace this. So it's going to have some play. And then on the back, I'm going to cut a piece of wood. So it's going to sit across here. It's only going to go to here. And then we'll be able to screw these into the board. That'll be a nice, efficient way of keeping everything there. In terms of pushing this down, I'm going to try some clips just to apply a bit of pressure just to stop it from moving. In order to mount these, I'm going to glue them, and I'm going to put some nails in. I'm also going to add some of these T-nuts through here, and so you'll be able to screw this backboard in and unscrew it if you ever need to take out the LCD panel. So in order to drop these T-nuts in, you have to drill this little hole, and you're using these, they're called Forstner bits. Kind of cool. And it just sort of drills a little hole where the T-nut is going to fit flush. So it's going to sit in there. Sorry, it's going to sit in there. Turn it up, glue, so there'll be a hole, and you'll be able to screw this piece of wood into the back of these. So it'll be flexible in terms of you ever need to take it off. It's just undoing 2 screws. So I wanted to let you know I'm doing an update or a revision to my original concept for the speaker panel. I mentioned before that I wasn't going to put acrylic across the front. I didn't want to do it because I have had some bad experiences cutting acrylic, expensive experiences. It's not easy to cut. But after playing with the panel yesterday, it's going to need some sort of covering. So I went and bought a panel, which I'm going to attempt to cut and keep my fingers crossed that this works. So it's okay. It's not great. Yeah, it wasn't a straight cut. It should be okay. This part is going to be covered by the H channel at the top. So that's not super important. Now I've got one more cut to reduce it, and then the circles. That's what I'm worried about. This is the easy stuff apparently, but so we'll keep going. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We've got to cut out the circles for the speakers, obviously. Woo! So it is cracked. So I have to decide whether I'm going to try and make this again, or because this crack, it's going to be covered a little bit by the channel, and then the speaker panel is going to cover it as well. So I'm tempted to leave it, but unfortunately I'm a perfectionist, so I'm going to want to fix it. All right, I'm going to need some think time on this, but for the most part, well, no, it didn't. I failed, but it's good enough, I think. And I did do one perfectly. I cut one edge perfectly. Top part doesn't matter, even though it was terrible, but it's okay. I think I'm going to use it, but I'm going to think on it. So here's the little oops. It cracked up the top there. I think it's going to be okay. So what I need you to do is not tell anybody. Essentially, if I put the channel up the top there, and then the speaker thing, the speaker grill, sorry, will go there. It's 1/2 inch. It's going to bug me though. It's 1/2 inch. No one's going to know. They're going to know. How would they know? So I realized I've got to drill. I got to drill 8 holes for the speakers. That's 8 chances of turning this into 8. All right, I'm going in. All right, the holes are drilled. I did have one. But the grill will cover it a little bit. Sorry, where is it? Little crack. If it gets bigger, obviously, I will have to admit defeat. But it's usable. It's a B minus. This whole thing is a B minus. There's some A cuts, but that's a beautiful one. But it's a B minus. So we're coming back to the mounting sleeve for the LCD screen. I made these yesterday. A cut piece of wood, here. So this is going to fit on the back here, and then I've got this, because I'm not doing the U channel at the bottom, I do need a ledge for the LCD screen to sit on, so I'll cut that to there. If you can picture this as being the LCD screen, it's just going to slot in here. So I'm going to mount this piece of wood to this piece of wood, and then we'll check in. So what's going to happen is, flip this over. These are going to be glued to this, and then I'm just going to run a 1 1/4 inch screw with a washer through here. Two on each side. This will be glued. It just means I can undo these 4 screws to simply remove the panel, and then I'm going to glue a supporting shelf as well. So that's my next step. So we've got this glued, nailed. This is glued here. So we have a little pocket for the screen that just is perfect. What I'm going to do, you can probably see a little bit of movement there. So I've actually got some weather stripping. So I'm going to put it on either side, the top and the bottom and the sides, just to try and black out any light that might come. And then, yeah, it's coming along really well. I'm really happy with this. I think the weather stripping will look good. I'm going to be mounting those boards on this, and then I'll paint. I wanted to do as much as I can before painting, because I handle it a lot. I'm going to scratch it. So once I'm happy with the mounting hardware, I'll prime this, put a couple of coats of the black enamel satin finish, and we should be done. So I got the weather stripping on either side, and I added it to the sides of the monitor. So we'll flip this over. Need some encouragement. Come on, you can do it. I don't want to push too hard. I'm going to put washers on these at some point. Just I'm really happy with that. I think that looks, I gotta sand this a little bit because it's not really shaped very well, but I'm gonna sand it. But that is really good. Those white bits are gonna annoy me in there. But so on top of this is going to be that acrylic, which we successfully cut this morning. So I think that looks amazing. I'm going to have the speaker grills on either side. So yeah, it's coming along nicely.